Hello, welcome to the St Kilda and Bayside Report. It is June 2022. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy Rosens, and welcome, Gary. It's June already.
You're very hairy, Jeremy Rosens.
I've got a lot of hair at the moment.
And I can't knock you for it, but I'm wondering how Mr. Kingston, our partner, is going, looking at you that way, because, he's very neat and tidy and pristine.
It's very funny that you say, because he hasn't said much, but we had a sales meeting.
That's just because he's not talking to you anymore.
That's
probably.
the other reason. He took a photo of me and in the sales meeting from a distance and highlighted it and sent it to me at an eerie hour the following day saying, who's this new woman that works with us? So I'm filing a suit against him now for a whole range of different things.
Very good. Well, that's what you've got insurance for, I suppose, isn't it? Well, I'm glad that...
it's your insurance, by the way, not mine.
Is that right? Well, look, welcome, everybody. It is very cold out there.
It's wet, it's cold.
Weather. It's miserable, but there's nothing miserable about the property market. Things are selling well. Just last weekend, we had a close enough to 80% clearance. The industry average was around about 60, so we did 30%
Well, that's the reported
better.
is 60, Gary. I'd like to challenge that publicly because what the people at home may or may not know is that there's a number of results where they're not reported, where auctions potentially didn't go ahead for whatever reason. I think there's a lot of agents that when they fail, they don't like to talk about it, but when they succeed, they're standing on the top of cars screaming about it.
You're not now disparaging our industry in some way by saying not all the facts are always out there on display. I hope that's not.
Oh, that's exactly actually what I'm saying.
As a member
Gary.
of the Real Estate Institute of Victoria, I just won't have that kind of talk. No. Jeremy, we've seen a bit of a change in the market. Things have settled down a little bit. Prices have settled. Maybe come back a little bit. What are we thinking?
Oh, look, they've certainly come back a bit, I think, and we talk about depth of interest often on this show, and we talk about buyer interest come auction day, that when there's depth of interest, you get multiple bidders. I think the amount of bidders on average has come down, as have the people attending our opens, but I still think, and I'm still happy to say that the market is still moving forward. We're still getting buyer activity, and people are still putting their hand up to buy. Yes, it's come off a bit, and that's really about vendors probably recalibrating expectations and falling in line with that, which I think our vendors have been, and they're the ones with sold stickers on the boards at the moment, Gary.
I know that the median's often used as a measure. I've always been suspicious about the median because I think it more reflects the sample of properties in a given price range rather than the same property. But we did have a property recently in St Kilda that sold last year. Buyer very keen, bought it under auction conditions, now just resold it, and for 5% less. So I think that was
the tale of the market.
Yeah, well, what do they say? One sparrow doesn't make a summer. But certainly that is, they do.
Who's they?
Oh, the guys down the pub. They always say that.
The old guys, yeah?
The old guys that, sort of stay there after closing time that I hang out with.
Yes.
No, but that was an interesting test of the market because, it was the same property, like for like, 5%. And I wouldn't be surprised if things have come off a little bit. But that's where the opportunity is for buyers. If you're looking, then now's the time to swoop until things go up again, which inevitably happens, Jeremy Rose.
Well, Gary, they don't ring a bell at the top and they don't ring a bell at the bottom. So when you see an easing of pressure on the market, it's time to jump in. That's a fair statement. I think also there's been a lot of talk about cost of living, a lot of talk about interest rates, a lot of talk about change of government.
Go up. They can't stay at historic lows forever. That's why they're historic lows, because that's
correct.
Historical. Yeah.
And inflation means everything goes up in price, which means property values at some point are going to have to fall in line.
You heard it here first. For those people that are waiting and licking their chops thinking they can get a bargain and things are going to go down further, be very careful because you might just get caught on the way up. Jeremy, we have alluded on this show a few times. I wouldn't call it a show. It's more like a recording for your parents.
Segment.
I
think my parents have since dropped off now, Gary.
Right, fair enough, okay. Because you were paying them to watch it at one stage.
I was.
We did say a few times that there's something special going on.
Brewing, Gary?
Brewing in St Kilda. And all of a sudden, from a established business, which is the Gary Peer St Kilda business, which is part of an established business, which is Gary Peer and Associates, comes a even more established business. So we've got some real prestige and history now, and dare I say, a lot of experience and extra resources available to our clients, which is very exciting. So we did talk about an announcement. The announcement's here. We have a very special person that we're going to bring on to introduce as part of the Gary Peer team. Are you ready for it?
And I was ready months ago.
Are you ready for viewers? Because here we go. Well, it is with great pleasure that we introduce Matthew Morley to our organisation, who we've known for many years and, of course, is an icon of the real estate industry, having been now fourth or fifth generation, are we, Matthew?
I'm fourth and Lockie's fifth.
Okay, so 5 generations of Morleys. and we've all joined up together, which is fantastic for us, and we hope it's good for you and for the Morley's brand, because it's all now become as one. So we've got a lovely photo, of course, now of us all getting together, which you can see.
Lovely photo
there, which is a lovely photo. So Matthew, we know that you're far more well known than we are in terms of being around for a long, long time. I know the viewers would have driven down, as I have, many years down Brighton Road,
yes,
and hopped into that service lane where those wonderful shops are and where the Morley's office is.
Yep.
And of course, they would have seen the Morley Reserve out the front, and walked across there from the Grosvenor Hotel, maybe stumbled if they've had a big night and they're going back to Elwood.
That's Robert H. Morley and Son, who was the founder of the business back in 1910.
Okay.
Imagine having a reserve.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, it's the Robert H. Morley Reserve.
Yes.
And it's still there.
So that is your
great-grandfather who started the business back in 1910.
Wow.
And he ran the business to sort of the 30s, where George, Dad's father, took over, and he ran it to the 50s.
Yep.
And then Dad came in, Glenn Morley came in the 50s.
With your dad, with a brother or on his own?
No, on his own.
On his own, okay.
And they were also involved in a lot of development through the Carnegie, Murrumbina, St Kilda area, built a lot of flats, which became part of our rent roll, which is interesting. So it was a great business they ran a real estate business as well as a building business. And then in the 80s, Andrew and myself came into the business and worked, and we built it and took it to the next stage.
Yep.
But one of the great things that I love is bringing history and keeping that history and bringing it across to Gary Pier. And I think it's a fantastic thing that you guys have got such a great setup. We've known each other for so long.
Yes.
You've got offices in our network, and I think all of our owners have been so happy to come across and be part of the Gary Pier name, as well as bringing that history across, which is fantastic.
We've
it's probably
known
very
you, but
important.
we never talk to you because as a real estate agent, we don't like to spend a lot of time with other real estate agents.
Fraternising with the competition, we're always very careful about that. But the reality is that when we all got together, it was great, wonderfully exciting, because you guys not only been going a long time, you've got a fantastic reputation and really well known. Tell me, did you growing up as a part of a real estate family, which neither of us did, but you did.
That's because we haven't grown up yet, Gary.
Well, that's true. That's true too. Tell us a little bit about some of the history that you used to hear about. Did you hear some of the conversations passed down from decades and generations of what real estate was like 100 years ago?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I must say a lot of the conversations at the dinner table with Dad, we lived out in Wheelers Hill back in the day when we all grew up.
That would have been like being in the Dandenongs today.
It was. And some of the conversations, but what I remember, one thing is Dad wasn't home much.
Yep.
Back in the day, on a Sunday, he'd have the day off, but he'd work until about 2 o'clock on the Saturday.
Yep.
And a ritual was we went down to South Melbourne and watched the football.
Wow.
Which was amazing. You can't do that today.
So is this a family of blood supporters?
Exactly.
Oh, really? Wow.
Old South Melbourne supporters.
Okay, very good.
You weren't so chipper last week or 2 weeks ago when Carlton knocked you off about barracking for them, but I see you are today.
Exactly.
Beat Melbourne, but that's a whole other story.
And I think, anyone could beat Melbourne.
I think sitting around the dinner table, listening to a lot of the stories and the phone calls and just listening to what... how things were done back then was interesting. I used to go to a lot of the auctions, and that was a lot of fun. I used to sort of put out the flag, help Dad. I probably like working more than going to school. So I sort of finished school quite early.
You actually went to school?
Yeah. Well,
none of us did that really.
Good effort.
Finished early, well, yeah.
But it was, great fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I think the whole family's got a bit of real estate in their blood, all the boys.
They would have to.
So
Matthew, tell us a little bit now. I mean, Lockie's now involved, he's studying, and he's also working in the business with us, which is fantastic. Lucy's doing some fantastic work for us as well, which is so exciting. So we've got at least 3 more still going with us. And of course, you talked a bit about your brother Andrew. He's now doing commercial in his own business.
Yes.
You've got a lot of people who've dealt with you over a long time. What are they able to do with you now that you're here?
Well, I think the fact that we've got databases that are going to merge together, and I think one of the things that I've loved coming across to Gary Pier is that you share your information, which is really important, and that's the information and database that you have, which is amazing and huge. And I think that that's going to be great for all of our clients that come across, whether you're selling, renting, or just general knowledge.
Yep.
But I feel that coming across from Morley's to the Gary Pier Way, for me, has opened up a whole array of things for me, because it's very important as a person. I've been in the game for 36 years, which is a fair way.
Spring chicken.
Yeah, exactly. And I love it. And one of the things I did say to Jeremy is that I'm still keen to learn.
Yep.
I've got a lot to give.
That's for
and
sure.
I think that, there'll be no change from me. I'll be all systems go and working pretty hard. And I'm really enjoying working in the St Kilda office. I think it's fantastic, great culture. And the great thing about Gary Pier is you all work together in all of the networks, not just the St Kilda office. You've got St Kilda, Bentley, Caulfield, Murrumbina, Carnegie. So it's fantastic. And like I said earlier, a lot of those areas are where we have properties that we're involved in on a day-to-day basis.
And I know that was important for you as part of the get-together as well, that we were able to service your clients. And, we spent quite a while talking about it, and I know how important it was for you, that the client experience was absolutely matched, or improved if it was possible to do so. Now that you're free of a lot of the things that are involved in running an office, you're selling, you're dealing with clients, and you're auctioning as well.
Exactly.
Loving doing
And
that.
a very accomplished auctioneer.
I know that.
I actually went to an
for sure.
auction.
Yes.
We did a campaign together on Brighton Road.
Yep.
And Matthew was both auctioneer. Lockie was there,
Yes.
swooning the crowd. Lucy was there on photograph duty. So it was it was me with the Morleys.
Yeah, Morley
which was
affair.
it was fantastic. And, one of the things that resonated with what you said was when we were putting this deal together to come together and merge, you never know how it's going to work.
That's true.
You never know how personalities will click together. But we're now several months into this, and Matt and I get on very well. And the team, the whole Morley's team has come, and integration is a key kind of word that we talk about. And we've maintained the same people.
Yes, that's right.
So the clients are getting the same level of service, albeit from a different name. Yeah, from the same people.
That's right, and that was important to you.
Seamless, Gary.
I know, Matthew, that your people came across, and we were very much embracing of that, and it's been a very, very exciting time. So it's just incredible for us. So we're very, very delighted, and pleased and excited to have you on board.
And thank you for welcoming the Morleys
Not
so
at all.
well.
It's been a pleasure.
Great.
And thank you for picking us, because anybody would have been thrilled to
Definitely.
have been able to have joined together with such a prestigious and respected and established business as the Morleys. It's great to have you here, Matthew. And for those people that know Matthew and might have been wondering, where's he gone while that office is not necessarily full of real estate agents anymore on Brighton Road, you'll find him in Inkerman Street together with Mr. Rosens.
will indeed.
Running around, listing and selling and auctioning,
Exactly.
as you have been for many, many years, and hopefully for many, many years to come. So
Thanks, Gary.
officially welcome on board.
Yep.
Wonderful to have you here.
Thanks,
you.
Gary. Thanks,
and,
Jeremy.
we look forward to having many happy years together. Jeremy, how good is it to have Matthew Morley and the Morley team as
Great.
part of our organisation? We've considered ourselves very fortunate, and
Absolutely.
of course, Matthew's a very skilled and experienced practitioner, great auctioneer, and just calls it as it is. I think some of the images of the modern day agent aren't always favourable, but those that have been around a long time stood the test of time. And let's face it, between ourselves as an organisation and the Morley's organisation, we would have seen a lot of agents.
There's about
come
1,000
1,000 go.
years, Gary.
There'd
About
be
1,000
years of
expertise.
experience, but a lot of agents have come and gone in that time, and the ones that have stayed around and endured time and different climates, real estate climates and rocky roads, they've got to have something going for them, Jeremy, and certainly the Morley family and Matthew does. So great to have you
Indeed,
here.
Gary, a good family man. It actually turns out that our kids, my oldest and Matt's youngest, actually they have a connect. They actually know each other through friends because they're the same age.
They're not playing
believe it or
footy
not.
together, are they? Or
No.
fair enough.
Well, not yet. They're not. They might.
Fair enough. Jim, we do often on this show talk about sales
we review,
and
Gary.
listings. So let's just go through some of the sales. The volume is down a little bit, but there's been some really exciting
Some
results.
quality offerings,
Some
Gary.
great offerings. Look, I want to launch straight into this block of apartments we've got,
Gary.
because this is one of the most phenomenal properties we've ever had the pleasure of selling. And of course, blocks of apartments is something we specialise in selling, as does Matthew Morley and the Morley Group. They've had a long association with selling blocks of apartments as well. But this block,
I
at
doubt
60
they've sold 100, Gary.
They might not have sold 100. Oh, well, probably they have over the years.
I doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Well, we can ask him.
We will. We should get him back and see. But Jeremy, this one in Hotham Street is one of the most spectacular blocks of apartments that I've ever seen, let alone had the privilege of offering. It's got this phenomenal rooftop garden, which is massive, and it's kind of like something out of a New York loft, or maybe with the last concert of the Beatles was played on a rooftop, if I'm not mistaken. Don't Bring You Down, I think might have been the song. For anyone watching, let me know if that's right. Because anybody old enough that watched the Beatles, but this has got the incredible rooftop.
Iconic block, Gary.
They're huge apartments. Have a look at this block at 62 Hotham Street. Anyway, I couldn't
1 to 12.
I'm out of 12 apartments, plenty of parking.
Go to the market soon, Gary. 14th of July auction, unless sold prior to, which I don't think will happen. But
so I couldn't resist talking about that one.
Gary, I'm going to jump on your coattails a little bit, because whilst we've got that
away.
block of flats, which is superb, I don't know if I'm going to see you and raise you, but I'm certainly going to throw these chips in.
Go ahead.
Because at 331 Inkerman Street, opposite Hewison Reserve, corner Orange Grove, I should say, in Inkerman.
Do you know I never knew the name that was?
Well, it's Hewison Reserve, Gary. Hewison Reserve. And this block of flats is as good as it gets,
the one on
Gary.
Orange Grove in the corner.
The Tudor style clinker brick.
These are
6 two-story, 3-bedroom. This is as good a block as you'll find, Gary. So I think the two of these blocks, I've got to tell you, if you're a buyer looking to sort of get a big asset in St Kilda East that's going to be generational, pick one of those two.
Very exciting. Now, we've got a few other listings to go through.
We do, Gary.
Just review a few sales and then we'll get out of here.
We've got a number of apartments coming to the market. We're not going to go through each of them individually, but check out the website, because we've got some fabulous 2- and 1-bedroom apartments hitting the market. But 31 Prentice Street, Gary, is one that's very near and dear to your heart.
It is. I've been quite involved.
We've
just had a price review, and this is going to be in the very low ones, Jim.
Great value at that price, I think.
Great spot, also in that same
very
opposite
cool.
Hewitson Park kind of position there. Very close to the
Hewison, no, there's no T.
Hewison Park,
Yes.
Not far from the Ink. Is that the
just across the road from the Ink,
exactly right. You can walk across and stumble home, but that is a fabulous townhouse, Jim. It's got its
31
own
Prentice
street frontage, parking, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and very affordable.
Street frontage too, Gary.
Yep, could be an investment, or maybe a first home buy, or an upgrade from an apartment. Anyway, that's a beauty. We love that one, Jim. We've also got here this.
If you missed that townhouse, Gary, you can go to the other one.
Okay,
Lansdowne
you can talk about that.
Maureen Mazaro has listed this one.
She does.
Home number 1 at 47 Lansdowne Road. 3-bed, 3-bath, 2-car, Gary, in the middle of Lansdowne Road. A rare offering.
Very luxurious.
And price 165 in that sort of area. And going to auction 25th of June.
And it's in that little bend, that winding tree-lined bend of Lansdowne Road.
The chicane of Lansdowne Road.
It is
I love
exactly
that
right.
word, chicane.
That's a good one.
Not sure if that's a chicane. It's more of a S-bend.
It is a bit of an S-bend, Jeremy. Now, this property in Alexandra Street in St Kilda East, this is a really wonderful opportunity. The owners have the choice. Do they go and spend $100,000 making it beautiful, or maybe 50 and put another few hundred on the price tag, or do they just let people do it their own way? It's got the floor plan, it's got the location, it's at the front of the block, it's only a small block. Maybe, I'm not sure if there's
It's a rare house-size villa, Gary.
It is, and you've got a lovely courtyard, gardens. That's a beauty. Michael Jonas, I know, as he is excited about
across
everything.
it, Gary. 3 beds, 1 bath, 1 car, in one of Melbourne's most desired locations in Alexandra Street, Gary.
There's a few of our offerings. I'm not sure if there's any more you want to run through
Well,
quickly.
I don't, Gary, because there's so many fabulous apartments. I've said that earlier, so just check on the website, because we've got some fabulous homes coming to the market in June and a little bit of July. Historically, Gary, a couple of sales that I would like to talk about. Just gone, 33 Raglan Street. I had the pleasure of selling that with Limor.
Now, that's an incredible property,
what
isn't it?
We've picture had postcard facade
for the
of a
time
home.
of year where traditionally you don't get a lot of great quality offerings, we've had some unbelievable offerings.
We are fast becoming, Gary, St Kilda's premier seller of premier real estate, Gary. I'm going to put it out to the viewers now. If you've got a sort of a prestige style home, you think, well, we've certainly got buyers for you, because 33 Raglan was keenly contested at auction. Undisclosed the price. Price range was 2.9 to 3.150 or thereabouts. Fair to say that we sold it in that sort of high end. 37 Lansdowne Road, another high-end, beautiful period home in Lansdowne Road that I sold, Gary. Went to auction, sold just shy of $2 million at $1,980,000.
Now, if there is ever
990, sorry.
If there's ever been a castle built in East St Kilda, or Elsterwick, I should say.
Elsterwick, Ripponlea is also.
If there's ever been a castle built there, it's got to be 23 Hotham Grove. How about this incredible property? Auction last weekend.
One of the area's most historic homesteads, Gary. 1,325 square metres, 3 street frontages, the most sensational double-storey Victorian that dates back hundreds of years, Gary. Sold that for an undisclosed price.
was being quoted in the fours, wasn't it?
It was quoted 4.3 to 4.7.
Okay. Well,
Fair to
sold
say
at
it
fours,
was sort of, you know, we could
In
sort
the
of circle
fours,
that area. Again, a couple of buyers for that, and just a beautiful home and an estate in the middle of Elsterwick, Gary, inner city Melbourne.
Some exciting sales and some exciting offerings coming up. I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to review.
Well, there was a block of flats that I wanted to talk about in Kipling Street that we sold.
Yeah, that's a
Sold
good spot
to
too. Opposite the Dick Witt.
Well, we seem to be
Opposite
selling
the
a lot
Dick
of things opposite pubs, Gary.
Yep.
Is there? Well, that's probably what
Is that where we get our
St Kilda's
listings?
really
Is that
about.
where we're going to get our listings these days?
It's either where we get our listings or where we get our buyers. But as you can see by this block of flats, this is a ripper. There were 8 apartments there, Gary, all 2 bedrooms, sold really well. And sold to a Sydney buyer, Gary.
That's right. It did.
Sold an apartment in Sydney and bought a block in Melbourne.
Probably did too. People are often intrigued. Who's buying these blocks of apartments? Are they investors? Are they renovators and builders? Are they people that are going to start sort of change them? In fact, even some blocks, there's been, not what we've sold, but it's a block of apartments sold in Richmond, knocked down.
Well, Gary,
and someone built a home there. Yeah.
Interesting story. We sold, Matthew Morley and I sold a block of apartments of 3 in Berkeley Street.
Yes.
And the eventual buyer, I believe, is holding on to them short term with the view to actually turn it into one home.
There you go. Why not? Knock yourself out. Well, the land value
4
underpins it.
Yep.
Yes, that would be the one. Is it Southie Street there? Or?
No, it's on Berkeley Street, just
Berkeley
near
Street,
the corner of Ackland and Berkeley.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes,
down.
that's right. Yes.
Block of 4.
Is that disclosed, that price?
I think we could
in
probably...
the circa of $2.5 million, somewhere around that.
2.4, Gary. I think we should just throw it out there.
Fair enough. Good stuff. Well, that's a bit of a review. It's been great to have Matthew Morley here. You'll be seeing plenty more of him in and around St Kilda doing his thing. He has Have Gavel, Will
And
Travel.
Elwood. And
of
Elwood,
course.
Gary.
And Elwood, yeah, of course.
Don't forget Elwood.
That's his specialty, actually, Elwood and St Kilda and the surrounding areas. So it's been great to have him on. It's been a delight to welcome him as part of our team.
And his family, Gary.
And his family. That's a big wrap where the market still is holding up well. Good opportunity. Has taken a bit of a breather on price. So it could be the time to jump on in. We will bring you all the real estate news as we come back at you in the coming months
Yes,
to review the St Kilda and Bayside market. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy Roses. We'll see you next time.